Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back. So usually when we talk about like game journalist articles and reviews and stuff like that, it's generally in the context of a lot of these game journalists, as soon as a monster taming game comes out, whether it be new or old, they'll always be like Pokemon this, Pokemon that, blah, 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 right? So this does tie into that, and I do want to preface this by saying not everything they say in the review is bad. Like, some of the points they make are actually good. They're actually fair, and I wouldn't by any means agree with their 1 out of 5 star review, but like at the end of the day, like that's their choice. I don't really care. Like if they want to give it 1 out of 5 stars, that's fine. What I have an issue with is some of the rhetoric that's being espoused in this review that is a little bit, I would say, either bad faith or just like a little bit ignorant to like what monster taming is, and you'll see what I mean in a bit. And like some of the complaints made about Monster Rancher are really funny, so we're gonna gloss over a little bit. I'll hit the main points, but just let's read. Pokemon. Oh wait. Let's read the title first. Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX review. Nostalgia can be poison. All right. Pokemon. The first word. They couldn't go one word without mentioning Pokemon. Like, it's not, oh, Monster Rancher's this, this, and that. If you're a Pokemon fan, you might not like these aspects of Monster Rancher. Depending, no. It's just Pokemon right off the bat. We can't have a review without it being just Pokemon. Okay. Pokemon to mainstream. Digimon, poser. You only like that because everyone else likes Pokemon. Back in the early 2000s, when it came to tapping the monster catching Japanese pop culture, the really cool kids were hooked on Monster Rancher. Okay. So basically, the first couple paragraphs go into how Monster Rancher was really hard to get. The original had this cool system where you could swap the discs out in your PlayStation for actual music CDs. Not just music CDs, by the way, game CDs too. And then you could create monsters for it. And then, fast forward a quarter decade, and here we are. And basically, you'll see. So, except it's not, and they're saying that in response to the idea that the magic of the CD system will be uncovered by those who didn't have a chance. While Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX does contain the original PlayStation games, 1997's Monster Rancher and 1999's Monster Rancher 2, their appearance here are based on the mobile ports released in Japan and for Android and iOS in 2019. Worse is that these are not good mobile ports. Koei Tecmo hasn't taken the 2019 code and tailored it for play on PC or Nintendo Switch. It's just dumped the mobile ports. So there is a fair, I'm going to gloss over what they're saying here too, but I will say that they make a fair point on some of this because, for example, when you're playing, there's no button UI. Like, it doesn't say what confirm is. It doesn't say what back is. You have to like play a little bit of a guessing game to figure it out. So that is a fair criticism. Like, there should have been better UI for the PC and Switch versions. They also mentioned that the controller scheme uses the B button to go forward and the A button to go back, sort of like the original Japanese controller scheme that was actually changed when it came to the West originally. That's not a big deal, but like, again, if they had said that would have been fine. But you're like this is fair. Like, they took the mobile port and they didn't change a lot, so there are certain issues with it being a mobile port that cause issues. So I will give that to this person. There are some issues with that. They talk a little bit about the real-time combat. I disagree with some of their points. Like, the real-time combat I think is pretty good. But anyway, they're going to go into this. Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX being a little more than a cheap and nasty mobile port also means that the central mechanic of scanning the CDs is gone. Yes, okay, the argument is it's been 24 years from the originals, and who even cares about CDs anymore? It's a fair one, especially for the Switch release, famously lacking a disc drive, but it is disappointing that the PC version didn't have the option for those who still have DVDs or Blu-ray. So yeah, that would have been nice, but like, I wouldn't expect that from a discounted remaster to add that extra feature back into the game for the less than 1% of people that still have disc drives in their computer. Would it have been nice? Yeah. If they were charging $80 for this game, like some remakes like to do, then yes, I would definitely say they should have added a lot more. But, you know, for like a $30 port, I'm not really too upset about it. And they have they're going to talk about this in a bit. They have the search feature. So it's not like it's not like that's a feature that's completely like taken out of the game. Anyway, instead, across all formats, the CD scan function has been replaced with a searchable archive. This is where it gets a little bit funny. Players type in a song or album name with a corresponding artist, and a monster is generated. Now, the person just mentions songs and albums, so that makes me maybe think that they haven't really done a lot of experimentation, because there are also game discs. That might just be me being a little, you know, going into semantics a little bit, but it's a little bit fishy. It would be a fine replacement if it worked. What's more likely to happen is that you type in each album in your entire CD collection, or more likely your saved albums on Spotify or similar, and are met with no results. This isn't the case for certain artists being too niche. The likes of Madonna or Snoop Dogg bring back nothing. I have not tested Madonna or Snoop Dogg, but for every artist that is missing songs, I will tell you other artists do have songs. Like, search up Metallica, they're pretty popular. Tons of Metallica songs. So this seems like more like a complaint that like the music that you like isn't on there, which, I mean, I wouldn't give a game a bad review on. It's just like, oh, well, that's kind of unfortunate. Like, we don't even know where they got the database from. We don't know if the database was in-house or if they're using a different platform to gather it or what. So like, they're going to complain a lot more about this, but just listen. As a result, you'll be more often left to random selection feature, which mostly seems to be a mix of classical music or performers so unknown that even your hipster mate who claims to know every artist before they were popular won't have heard of them. Although one random search did bring up Japanese rockers, the Gazette, so that's something. Even this feature falls apart. It falls apart. So they say it falls apart. Let's see how it falls apart. As the first several random tracks tied in Monster Rancher 2 would have yielded a rare monster that could be generated only by authorized IMA trainer, a rank you only acquire later in game. So you're complaining that you didn't have the requirements. Like when I searched up tracks, yeah, a couple of them were like that, but not all of them. Now this is a decent critique. Maybe they should have done it so that when you use a random search function, it'll only give you like songs of that sort of like of the ranking that you're at. So like if you are just new, you only get the ones that you can get. But like this isn't like a make it or break it thing. Like, big deal, you had to search like 2 or 3 times and you weren't qualified to get your discs. Like, wow, you had to hit random like 3 times. Failing all that. So that's a failure. So because Monster Rancher's disc system didn't have Snoop Dogg and gave this person something that they weren't qualified to take, it's a failure. There's a market where players can choose from pre-generated monsters, which you're supposed to do at the beginning anyway, which entirely drains the appeal from this game. Given the problems with creating your own monsters, though, it may be the best options. It's not that hard. All you have to do is put in a song. Like, we put in tons of songs. Sure, some of them weren't there, but like most of them were. Like, what music are you listening to that you couldn't find any songs? Like, we put in Metallica, we put in Linkin Park, like, we put in a lot of rock songs. Like, maybe you should adjust your taste in music, sir. But seriously, like, it's not a failure. It just didn't have the songs you want, and you know, it was lacking a quality of life feature that would have been nice. The actual training parts of both games remain cute. Okay, so I'm not. They were fine. None of this was too bad. But when you get down here, both are also unique for not pushing the gotta catch 'em all focus of certain other monster titles. Though, just Pokemon. Yeah, a few other games have like, you know, catch a lot of monsters, whatever. But like, what are these other titles that are so oriented on catching them all that why do you always have to compare it to Pokemon, bro? Like, not everything that's not Pokemon in the monster taming genre is unique. In both Monster Rancher games, you'll initially only have one creature to train, and while the ranch where you go, okay. The dated nature of the games ultimately drives home how un-deluxe this DX edition is, although aside from the changes made from the 2019 mobile releases, the games are essentially unchanged in and of themselves from the late 90s. Koei Tecmo has added a few tweaks to the package as a whole, most notably a high speed mode that accelerates the sedate pace to something a bit more keeping with modern playstyles, plus a random battle mode, training memos, more save slots, and even extra monsters in Monster Rancher 2. There's also extra monsters in Monster Rancher 1. I don't know why you just mentioned 2. However, none of this is enough to salvage a fundamentally broken pre-release. So why is it broken? It's broken because the button map is kind of bad. Like there's no button maps. Okay, fair enough. And because you couldn't find Snoop Dogg. While Monster Rancher was never a breakthrough franchise, meaning there aren't enough of those really cool kids who watch the anime to monetize the nostalgia of it, to justify a full-blown remaster, the games still deserve better than a quick smartphone port dropped on a PC and Switch as seemingly an afterthought, a total mess. We reviewed Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX on PC. It's also playable on Switchville for okay, so here's the verdict. The best that can be said about Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX is that it's an interesting time capsule, a snapshot of how different monster catching games could get at the turn of the millennium. Unfortunately, stripped of its most interesting mechanic and lazily dropped onto PC. Again, stripped of its most interesting mechanic. Just because you couldn't find Snoop Dogg doesn't mean the database doesn't work. It would have been cool though if on Switch they added like amiibo support. That would have been cool. As an almost entirely unaltered mobile game, a snapshot of the past is all most players will want from this. There's only so far that nostalgia can drive players, and this is more likely to poison memories and spark fond remembrances. So you're actually wrong, because the Monster Rancher community has actually been really like going hard into this game. Like if you're in the Monster Rancher Discord, people are going nuts over this game. Like people are enjoying it. Again, it's a discounted remaster. Like if the next Pokemon games, okay, because you want to compare everything to Pokemon, if BDSP was just a remaster of Diamond and Pearl for like, you know, $20 or whatever, people would have been fine with that. But people are complaining about a discounted remaster for Monster Rancher. So I feel like this is the same type of games journalist that would give Sword and Shield a 9 out of 10. Pros: high speed mode makes a 90s pace more tolerable. So yeah, this is all you need right here. The pace is too slow. The game's not fast enough. This is the type of person who would be totally cool with like games just giving you instant gratification as opposed to delayed. New monsters in Monster Rancher 2. There are DX exclusive monsters in 1. Cons: lazy, sloppy mobile port, awful controls. The controls aren't awful, just a button map layout is. Almost useless music database. It's useless. The database has nothing in it. No Snoop Dogg, no Madonna. It's useless. You know, forget the fact that you can literally type in Naruto and find music. No, it's useless. It doesn't have the songs I specifically like, so it's absolutely useless. And that's it. Yeah, so, I mean, okay, it's not the worst article I've seen, but it's definitely probably like the worst Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX review I've seen so far. Like, again, some of the critiques are definitely valid, right? Like, it does seem like it was just kind of ported over from mobile. There have been changes, there have been balancing adjustments from the original, there have been added features. They never mentioned the job mechanic that was added to Monster Rancher 2 at all. They also, from when I read this earlier, didn't really mention that much of like some of the later game mechanics as well, but whatever. All I'm gonna say is like they're comparing it to Pokemon. Oh, it's a Pokemon this, Pokemon that. Like you already have that undertone. It's not the worst when it comes to writing stuff off as a Pokemon killer, but you already have that undertone right off the bat. Pokemon's the first word. Then you have this person just harping on the disc system because they couldn't find Snoop Dogg. And you get a 1 out of 5 review for a discounted remaster that at the end of the day, like, it's a port of a PS1 and PS2 game. That's what the game is. That's what they've been saying the game is. They discounted the game. I don't really know what else to say. Like, I'm not sure what this person would have wanted. Like, if you wanted a full Monster Rancher remake, yeah, that would have been really cool. Like, remake it from the ground up. Could have even been a full price title. Add extra features and stuff like that, but that's not what this was. Hopefully this game do sell well though, because we could see a resurgence in Monster Rancher games in the West. Some new ones that hopefully this person doesn't complain about not being able to find Snoop Dogg on, and everybody could be happy. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this review. Let me know if there was anything I missed that you'd like to add, or if you have complaints about Monster Rancher, let me know what they are in the comment section. And if you want to praise it, you can do so as well. With all that said, if you do want to see more monster taming videos, definitely subscribe to the channel. This one was more casual, but we do a lot of more scripted content here as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, check out my Discord, and special thanks to our patrons, especially StealCase and Jim Hamilton. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.